packages, food packages. Then the library is supposed to be open. The law library is supposed to be open. Some days they should have rehabilitative groups. All these things are canceled. All these things are canceled when they yell there's a shortage staff. So when prisons are freshly open, if they don't have the faculties to facilitate all of this, the prison is still condemned and it's not supposed to be open and it's not supposed to be filled with inmates until it's equipped. However, on the reverse side, these prisons have been open for some time now. And by these prisons being open and people don't want to come and work out here, they're skating, they're sliding by, we're getting all this money pumped into high desert, where in my personal opinion is being, misappropriated and mismanaged. These monies are not being put into what been supposed to benefit the inmate population. So they're in a condemned prison when they can't facilitate staff. Right now, they're turning high desert facility D, buildings 1 and 2, into mental health programs, which are called EOP, which is an enhanced outpatient program. Enhanced outpatient program are the highest level of mental health inmates before being sent to mental hospitals such as El Cascadero, and they have a DSH in Fresno or Stockton. And these inmates are really considered real threats to the safety and security institution, and that's why they're separated from the inmate population. And they're no longer they're general population, but they're a different entity of the general population because they left the actual general population to be in EOP, and EOP inmates don't actually remerge with the general population, and it's almost like a S&Y, a person who has sensitive needs. They send them to the sensitive needs yard. They're no longer accepted in the general population. So these people know this. They know the dangers that exist. They know the threats that exist. They know the inmates who are at risk. They know all these things, but they're putting those 2 buildings, EOP, while 3 and 4 buildings may still be general population, but for C-status inmates who they've taken all their privileges away from them, and they just have them warehoused over there.
Wow.
They don't get anything. They just warehouse them. You're sitting there. They'll take your TV, they'll take your radio, they'll take your CD player. They subject you to the lowest amount of money, $45 a month or $60 a month to go to the canteen. You only go out to the yard Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and they, a lot of times when they don't have staff, their program is deleted. They don't have programs, so they're basically they sit in the cell. They got to argue with the staff about running their showers. Their showers are being argued for because the inmate is going to want to get out of his cell to try to stretch his limbs or stretch his legs. Being up in the cell causes cramps, it causes discomfort, it causes fatigue, it causes loneliness, it causes a whole lot of things. And yes, these little small walls do. They close in on you. And those are mental health impacts.
Mm-hmm.
But they don't acknowledge these things as mental health impact. The staff does not acknowledge them until an inmate flashes, busts a nutty, goes on one. And then they act like, well, what's wrong? What's the problem? And like they don't know, but they look for the uneducated inmate to explain a valid situation who's really not capable of articulating it, because not only does he lack the articulation skill? But
this call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
He has a mental health issue, and a lot of people, even skilled, educated, very mature and experienced people, once you get frustrated, and your heart get caught up in your throat, it's hard to articulate yourself out of anger anyway. So that goes for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Being in high desert, it's a mess. It's a sad affair because the prison officials they have a tendency to disseminate information of inmates, case files and case factors. They're continuously pitting the black inmates against the Hispanic inmates. They got certain staffs, who filter information in about inmates that causes a rift between the two races. And before you know it, there's standoffs, there's talks, there's jumping the gun, people jump the gun, and next thing you know, they're out there having a riot, and it's all promoted by staff, and staff give inmates so much power. The inmates, there are different types of inmates. You have MAC reps, who are men's advisory committees. They're supposed to dialogue with staff and disseminate this information about program, new implementations, what's to expect from the program, and they let the inmates know. But in all actuality, the prison officials are supposed to put new implementations and new programming on a memo, and they're supposed to generate it for the inmate population and put it on paper so that they could be held accountable for the backlash of new implementation. But what they do is they use these inmates, they use the inmate population and make these inmates feel like they're really important. And these inmates walk around, they have the ability to go building to building and walk around and talk about these matters, and people be looking at the MAC refs like, man, don't nobody want to hear that shit? Don't nobody want to hear nothing about what the police talk about? Inmates be thinking that the MAC refs are doing the police's jobs. But there's some guys who, when they're MAC refs, they don't go up there and dialogue with the administration. These MAC refs stay within the building like community members, and they run the tiers, the task goods and basic necessities and information around to the people who live in their housing unit. They know that it's a cross because it's called prison politics. People who fraternize with the police are viewed as being ITF, which is an acronym for Inmate Task Force. And it's sad because the prison officials, there's regulations to say no inmates will assume control over other inmates, but they grant these individuals, so-called shot callers, or influential entities, to be able to go around and be responsible for the inmate population, telling inmates what to do and what not to do, and it is causing division amongst each group of races. And, it's sad because you got some inmates who really have tucked their gang rag and seem like they're walking around with police badges. And the police are thrilled because these are the guys that they call for. Whenever they got a problem, they call for these guys, and they could tell them, the officers could tell these inmates whatever they want to. And if the inmate is not smart enough to say, I'm not getting ready to go tell everybody that, the inmate runs off and spreads rumors for the cops. So they weaponize these inmates, with false information to disseminate to the general population. And these are the things that get inmates messed up, removed from the yard, jumped on, and to stir the pot. So those are the things that be going on as well as many, many other things that the public is probably unaware of. and one of the reasons why they don't allow media coverage inside the prison to talk to the inmates and voice themselves, because as long as nobody's on the outside looking in, High Desert State Prison is going to do their thing, and they're going to do it to the best of their ability to keep this racially systemic process in place so that they can continue to establish an economy at Lassen, and these people can have a place to escape from the rest of the world. These prison officials, they come out of Los Angeles, they come out of San Diego, they come out of Long Beach, they come out of San Francisco, Sacramento, and they try to get away from that city life, and they find a new piece of life, and they go up there in these desolate areas, that's way up in the mountains where the air is fresher and the snow is, glistening off the mountains and stuff, and they're able to escape their normal realities and urban living, whereas at the expense of the inmate who is trapped there, who is eligible for a level 3 transfer, who is eligible to be transferred to a 270 lesser level 4 status, without having to be forced to file grievances on your own behalf that are going to be systematically denied by the grievance coordinators, who are actually the counselors for the facility who decides they paid on the classification. See, the wardens utilize their staff because these are the most experienced ones. You have correctional counselor 1s and 2s. They have running classification programming on the general population. Then
this call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
In the appeals office, to head off the grievances with systematic denials or rejections, things that, an inmate probably may not even...
You have 60 seconds remaining.
How to effectuate and to get his grieved matter processed and heard. And I'm going to follow up on that because I'm living proof of that. And we have to take a pause. We'll be right back.
Okay, everyone, we're back. We're close to closing out this segment, but we're going to continue the conversation on what's going on in the High Desert State Prison. Clarence, you have any final words for the segment?
Yes, I do, and there's so much to know about High Desert and the things that are going on there, and the inmates being there, not having a true voice, aside from those who seem to have straddled the fence and are not certain about what side they actually function on when it comes to the inmate population and being a prison officials. So I will close this by saying that we will continue on this topic so that I can enlighten you